This is live, this part of the show, but the next bit was recorded earlier today inside the TKO gym near Canning Town. It's the throwback gym, a three-ring centre of excellence and also eccentricity, a place for champions, losers and dreamers, and of course, it's the East End. Schemers. The man, the boss, the governor is Johnny Eames. I went down today with Ollie, the Thai curry aficionado, also known as my long-suffering producer, to have a chat with Johnny and anybody else that was floating about. I knew that there would be a few, and there certainly were. One or two or three or four. Anyway, Johnny met me at the door, and I started by asking him how the gym was. Busy or slow?
Yeah, normal, Steve. A bit quieter than what it was last month. Obviously, we had 20-odd fighters. I can't remember exactly how many on the show last month, boxing last month. So we're obviously a bit quieter this month, but it's still busy, always busy.
But just to explain, those 20-odd fighters, they don't belong to you, do they? Some will be like with Mark and Jimmy Tibbs, and some will be with, I don't know, Brian Lawrence or whatever.
Brian Lawrence, Mark and Jimmy and myself collectively had over 20 fighters together. I think we only lost one of them fights at 20-odd, which was Kevin, unfortunately.
Yeah, the big one.
The big fight, the one we really wanted to win, but, you know, certain things happen in boxing, but yeah, I mean, we had a great month, really.
Now, I'm going to talk to a couple of kids in a minute who you've signed today, and it seems to me, John, that how many fighters train here in a week who have got a pro licence in a good week? How many would the total be?
Well, my own fighters alone is 26. Oh, wow. And then there's Jimmy and Mark's. I don't know. I would say in the region of 40 to 50 fighters per week. In a day, I mean, sorry.
Yeah,
throughout one day, yeah.
That's a busy, so it is the busiest gym in London, isn't it?
I would have thought so. I would have thought so.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely.
I mean, that ain't our aim, Steve, to be busier than anybody else, but it's just the way it's gone.
But with the busy comes success, doesn't it? In all fairness.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way it works. So what we've got Erick up there, Erick Ochieng up there in the ring, and he's promoted by Eddie Earn Matchroom. Yeah. Obviously, we've got Mark Tibbs over there, who's got his various fighters.
He's clan, that's right. Yeah.
He's clan, and he works exclusively with Frank Warren, who fights on Box Nation. Yeah. And have you got to have that an open door policy, John? You can't.
Yeah, I mean, listen. It makes great sparring for everybody. If you've got more stables in here, you know, you can see we're a massive gym, Steve. We could probably hold 40 or 50 or 40 fighters at a time, let alone during the day.
Good point.
So yeah, the more trainers and stables I've got here, the better sparring for everybody, which means the better they come on. You know what I'm saying? You know?
John, you've got a couple of kids over here, a couple of young kids over here. I thought they were waste and strays, but they've actually turns out they're old enough. Or so you claim to have a licence.
I mean, I'm calling them. Whether I just call them the 3G, there's three of them. And I call them my new generation, so they're my 3G band.
Can they sing or anything?
They can sing a little bit.
They can sing and dance a little bit.
They can fight better than they can sing.
They're only young though, and they're very interested on that woman in the poster behind you. Are you a contender?
Right, yeah. I'll start with young Tommy Martin. I'll introduce you to Tommy first. He's a kid who's just signed with me today. He's 18 years of age. Just an example, he's been with us now 3 weeks, I believe. His first week, a kid come down from Norwich to spar with him, and Tommy had a little bit of an hard spar. And in the 3 weeks, he's been working with us. The kid came back yesterday and sparred again, and it was a totally different spar. Wow. So, you know, what I'm pleased about with this young kid is he's 18 years of age, he's listening, and he's learning. You know, so I'll leave you to talk to him.
Tom, what was it like when you first walked into this gym? Was it busy on that particular day, or did you come in early in the morning?
I come in early, because I had a meeting with Johnny before I trained, and he didn't even think he didn't even think I bought my kit. I was so eager to start training. He just asked me for an interview, but me being me, I bought my kit anyway. And he goes, "Oh, I take it you haven't bought your kit." So I said, "Yeah, of course, I've got it outside waiting." He goes, "Go on, get it on. You can just do a few on the bags." Next thing I know, he's got me in the ring with Kevin Mitchell and Billy Joe Saunders doing shadowbox. I'm like, whoa, it's a completely different world for me. Completely different world.
How much different is this to your amateur club?
Oh, completely different. For a starter, we started off training in a church hall. There was about, I'd say, 4 boys that started with. Then we got our own gym, and I was a bit of a big fish in a little pond down there. But down here, no one's better than anyone down here. Everyone's the same.
Well, what about the G-star there?
Yeah, one of the other G's is young Paul Quinn. As usual, I'm a blocky. Little Paul Quinn from Belfast or from Ireland. Another story, he's give up a lot to come here. Again,
You're based over here now, Paul?
Yeah, I'm based here now, yeah. I stay here during the week, fly over on a Monday morning, and I fly home back home to Ireland on a Thursday
Living
night.
in digs or something, or living with somebody?
I'm staying in a shared house. I rent a room in a shared house with a few boys from home.
That's down the Canning Town place.
It's not far from it, yeah. It's just in Ilford and Canning there, so that's where I'm staying at.
So that's
the
a
minute.
commitment, isn't it, Bob?
Yeah, it's a commitment on its own, yeah.
How old are you, son?
21.
They're babies. They're babies.
They are babies, aren't they?
They're all babies, yeah. I mean, his total commitment is unbelievable. I mean, for his own expense, he flies over every Monday, you know, puts himself up in digs and flies back every Thursday.
And when you got these two out, John?
Paul's out next Saturday week, 13th of October in Ireland on Alio's show. And young Tommy's on Miranda Carr's next show, November the 19th. 18th, sorry.
Tom, will you be out to sell some tickets as well? Sorry, will you be out to sell some tickets?
I reckon I'll do about 200, 300 tickets, because as is your call. But, so, we'll see how it
It's got a
goes.
bit of a look in it, the touring got a bit of a look in it. It's got that boy band thing, isn't it?
I told you.
Yeah. I might gel my hair. Yeah. And the other kid here who I recognise, I've seen him box at the Haringey Cup earlier this year.
Yeah, he's an Albanian kid who's been sort of fritting around the gym for a little while and not making up his mind what he wanted to do. He was going to go pro or he wasn't, and so we've not really given him a lot of attention yet, because you know how boxing is you know, you get fighters come in, want to go pro, you work with them, all of a sudden they disappear. So, you know, he's had his little bit of a trial period where he's been kicking around and hitting the bags himself, so he's just signed today, he's come on board today. And I'm looking forward to working with him. He's a very, very tough kid. You've seen him fight, you know he's very aggressive.
He's very tough.
Over to you just to talk to him and get a little bit about him.
Did you go on the Repton trip to Lagos? No, you weren't on that one, but you did box in the Haringey Cup, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Bad decision, yeah?
Yeah, very bad decision.
You were shocked, weren't you?
Yeah, but what can you do?
What can you do?
Yeah.
Now, I've seen you like to fight, don't you?
That's it, yeah.
Okay. Do you think sometimes that's your problem, is you like to fight too much
you're
instead
right.
of thinking?
Yeah. But
Is that a fair comment?
yeah, that's true. But we have to sort it out.
We
you know?
actually spoke about this yesterday, Steve, and I just said to him, I know you can fight.
Yeah, we know he can fight.
Now we've got to learn you how to box.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying he can't box, but it's great having that natural aggressive streak in you, which the kid's got without a shadow of a doubt. You know, we just need to be able to channel that aggression and let it go when it's needed, which he'll learn. He's only 22, Steve.
I didn't
you know,
realise that.
yeah, he's 22. Not that I thought he looks about 40, doesn't he?
Now, with the Albanian community in London, is it still big? Because it was big many years ago. It's still big.
Yeah, very big. Yeah.
And will they come out for you?
Yeah, they will.
Good.
We hope so.
You know,
Confident.
when I first saw him at the Haringey Box Cup and he lost, he won, but he lost. No problem, it happens.
Yeah.
But the thing is, what I did notice was that all day long he was walking around ready to fight. I thought he was fighting twice in one day, all day long. For 6 hours he was walking around, John.
He's like that, Steve. He comes in here and all he wants to do is spar. Can I spar with him? Can I spar with him? Can I spar with him?
Yeah.
You know, but he don't mean spar. He wants to fight him.
Well, listen, I'll see you soon. So listen, I want to wander around.
Go on, Steve, speak to me.
I met two of you, G's, and your Albanian kid. Yeah, that kid was a good fighter when I saw him last year. It was a brilliant fight when I saw him last year. You right, Mark? Mark Tibbs is here also. He's got a couple of his fighters on the mat. Billy Morgan's over there on the bag. We'll have a word with them when they're finished. If you walk up to this ring over here, there's 3 rings here at the TKO, and in this ring there's Erick the Eagle Ochieng. We've had him actually in the studio, and we like Erick because we make him sweat even though he's on radio. We tell him he can't be on unless he's sweating. Now Erick wanted to go to the Olympics, but we let him down several times. In fact, Ollie let him down. How are you, Erick? All right. Erick, when are you out next? When are you boxing next?
I'm going to be out again on the 8th of December.
Okay, is that going to be was that English title defence?
No, we give our... We give it up now. We're ready for another title, which Edian is working on it. And we'll be shining again.
Because really, Erick, you're at that stage now where you've got to go. You've got to go up, not sideways. You agree? Is that a fair comment?
Absolutely, you're right about that. It's onwards and upwards, and we've got a great team behind me, and that's what we're going to do. They're going to put the right fights. All I got to do is focus and beat whoever put in front of me.
And what about life away from the ring? Is it all working out okay? You're all comfortable and happy?
Yeah, everything is great. I give God thanks, you know, for my career. It's very going well. And without Jesus Christ, it won't be possible. So everything's going great. Can't complain. Family's well. And yeah, life is good.
And you're still called the Eagle, yeah?
Yeah, the eagle's still soaring there.
Yeah, I need to make sure because sometimes people change nicknames.
Well, why?
Because you might start calling yourself I don't know, the Condor. I don't know. You're still the Eagle.
Still the Eagle. The Eagle's still soaring, and is looking to land on the 8th of December at Ali Pali.
All right, top man. Erick Ochieng, thanks, thanks, Eric. The Eagle. Well, it's true. Some fighters change their names, so it's always good. Always good to have a look at that. So we're going to speak to now. We're going to speak to a guy called Rio. Now, Rio, as Johnny says, he's got that unique hair shampoo. You only need to use it once a year. But that's possibly an unfair description. Now, Rio is one of those guys, he works, I don't know, probably only 25 hours a day to help keep the gym going. Rio, come on, give us a second of your time. You never normally do. What do you do all day, just punting this stuff out? What do you do?
Well, range of things, besides running the gym itself, helping Johnny organise, obviously, the getting the fighters' fights, doing the posters, doing the press. Basically everything.
Have you found in the last 5 years, have you found it easier to get exposure either online or in the papers or on radio, or harder the last 5 years?
Papers-wise, it's a lot harder. Yeah. I mean, in America, not so much of a problem. When you've got the fighters there, it's a lot easier. But in England, they just don't seem to have the interest. Online, not so much a problem. Get a lot of good exposure on.
Good exposure, but not necessarily quality. So
no, that is the problem. What you want is the things like the Sun, you want the Mirror, you want, or preferably even slightly higher class newspapers.
See, the good thing is, I mean, those, in all fairness, those papers, they're all papers. They've got a site, really. So they should do more online in some ways. I mean, I'm not necessarily talking about kids that Johnny's just signed, new kids, but certainly on the upcoming kids, or kids like Erick Ochieng, you know.
Well, people like Erick definitely should be getting exposure. I mean, there's some up-and-coming kids that haven't even got title fights yet. Yeah. They should be getting, you want the papers to get behind them, because that's how the public knows about them.
Yeah. Do you think that what could make, in your opinion, Rio, what could make British boxing, I don't know, slightly more popular with the non-boxing public? If there was one thing, what would it be?
Gosh, well, we need a superstar. Funny enough, with Ricky Hatton coming back, that's about the news.
That's why he sold 19,000 for 50 hours.
Well, you think about it with, I mean, Carl Frost is awesome, but he just hasn't got that kind of...
He doesn't have crossover.
No, he doesn't. He just doesn't cross over. Ricky does. That's what we need. We need another one. I mean, Ricky, I'm glad he's coming back, but at the end of the day, we really need a new one coming up now.
Of course, the new ones don't just come overnight. Ricky didn't come overnight. You know, schoolboy, junior, ABA champion, box for England, world amateur, world under-19 championships. Can you see any coming through? Not necessarily Ricky, like, because we may never see another Ricky. Yeah. Can you think of any either just turned pro or coming through, Rio?
Well, you know, you've used that deliberately to get me to Luke Campbell. You know what I think of Luke. I've been working with Luke for 3 years now. I actually think if we turn him pro next year, he will be the next superstar, because he's such a nice kid. Yeah. He's easy to work with. You know, he'll go out and he'll meet with people all the time. He's one of those nice ones. Oh, this most decorated amateur boxer ever. I mean, that's quite an achievement.
So is it your understanding that Luke wants to go to the Worlds next year and maybe win that? So it's gold European, gold Olympic, gold at the World. That's a trio that only, well, it's a monster trio. Very few people have ever done that.
Well, funnily enough, we're due to be talking. I told him not to make any decisions during before the end of the year. He's now actually got himself a commercial manager anyway, but we're hopeful that we'll be doing our talk at the end of the year and we'll make a decision that will work best for Luke. One of the things we've got to think of is 24 years of age. By the time the next Olympics comes around, he'll be 28. We may then go past the chances of him getting a world title. So that's all got to be taken into account.
I think you've also got to look at the Commonwealths in 2014. A, they're in Glasgow, but B, because of the success of the boxing in London, there won't be any boxing on the Beeb until then. But once that comes around, the Beeb will overdo it. There'll be boxers everywhere. It's an interesting... Johnny's back on this side of the table. John, let me ask you about... Ideal world, what would you do? Anthony Joshua, obviously. Anthony Joshua, gold medalist. Luke Campbell, gold medalist. A Go-Go, bronze medalist. Fred Evans, silver medalist. Now, in the past, it would have been a no-brainer. They'd have been signed in now, any decade. There seems to be no hurry from them. Do you think they're making a mistake, or do you think they should look at the pros, or do you think they should stick with the amateurs? They get a few quid, and it's not as much as people imagine. What's your gut feeling, John?
I mean, first of all, I think that there's no rush with them because there ain't no money in boxing at the moment. You know, that's the bottom line of it, really, Steve. Is the money what was about when Amir turned pro and when Audley turned pro and when David turned pro. It's not there. You know, there's no... For some reason, our sport seems to be going backwards on the financial side of it, but, you know, who knows?
More attendance, more fighters going backwards on the financial side. How mad is that?
Who knows the answer why? You know, who knows? Who knows? I mean, you go to the shows, they're still full.
Yeah, of course they are.
Boys are still selling their tickets, you know, where's it going? But with regards to Luke, I think, as Rio just touched on, he's 24 now. You know, if he waits another 4 years and goes pro, it's 28. At 28, really he should be knocking on the door of a world title. So it means he's then, to become a world champion, you've got to be fast-tracked. Yeah. And then there's a danger it might not work. Yeah. You know, because no matter who you are turning pro, Olympian or normal, you still need that transition.
Of course you do.
And if you ain't getting time to get that transition, then it could go horribly wrong. Joshua, he's a kid, he's young. Yeah. But it still could go wrong, Steve. He could get beat his next amateur fight.
Oh, and he could get beat at 3 o'clock in the afternoon in Kazakhstan or Sofia in Bulgaria. Absolutely. You know, now the head guards are coming off.
I mean, the head guards are coming off. It's a different
and you know this 5 threes, this World Series of Boxing they do, where they do 7 threes in the final. They haven't got a clue what to do, you know. They go out like it's still 3 threes.
Well, I've got I've just signed a Turkish kid here for over 140 fights. Under. So your second name.
Under the carpet.
His name is Under Azugu, right? Or Ozgu. He was a Turkish national champion, light heavyweight. Yeah. They call him Little Mike. He fights like Mike Tyson. He is one terrific fighter. 150 amateur fights. He only didn't go to the Olympics because he was on this World Series of Boxing.
Okay, yeah. Right? This is monster.
Yeah, he can fight, the kid. And they tell me he can sell 400 or 500 tickets in this country.
Wow. You know, they do 5 threes and it's no tops, no head guards. You know, don't they?
Same as a pro. Well, he's been doing that. He's had 4 or 5 fights on it, Steve.
Wow.
And he can fight the kid, so I'm looking forward to him turning pro.
John, it's interesting. You mentioned the Turkish kid there. We've got the Albanian kid, we've got the kid from Belfast, and we've got the other kid from somewhere.
And they call me racist.
We've got Erick the Eagle up and the Ugandan in the ring.
I'm waiting for someone to take me and call to say I'm racist.
No, I wasn't going to say that. The point I was going to try and make is, where are the locals? Where are the Canning Town tearaways?
There's still a few Canning Town boys here, but I mean, because of the reputation of the gym, Steve, they travel from everywhere, as you know what I mean? And I didn't know they was going to travel as far as Albania and Turkey, but they fly home once a week, apparently. Yeah, don't mention that.
He wasn't a boxer.
As usual, Steve, we always have a laugh when you interview me, don't we?
No, I still want. I mean, you know, the Repton you can't move, right? West Ham you can't move, junior or senior. Islington over in North London, you can't move over there. They've got 1,000 people, members over there. They've got something like 100 odd kids with cards. You can't move at the moment.
It's the same up here in evening, though, Steve. I mean, we've got an amateur club now. We're affiliated, TKO ABC, and we go out for our first carded boys this season in October, which is now.
Well done.
We've got 14 medical kids already. We've only been going 6 months, you know what I mean?
That's going some, isn't it?
Unbelievable, you know. So we've got young Terry Emery, who used to be with Broad Street, running it for me. And hopefully we'll have a good season this year.
Because there were bad periods when some of the biggest and best clubs only had 15 or 20 carded boys.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously because of the stigma of the gym, kids want to come here, so we just thought it was a good idea to have an amateur club, and there we are.
I'm going to ask you this, but Rio's going to get me the answer because you won't have it. In a week, how many rounds of sparring take place up here? That'll give Rio something to do, because he doesn't do a lot.
That's one I might have to phone my brother on.
There we go.
No, I'll probably work it out better. No, more than that. I would say more likely 300 to 400 rounds of sparring, Steve.
If you've got three rings going for a couple of hours on and off, you've only got to have 10 rounds in each. You're on 30. So straight away you're on 200.
You're 300 to 400 minimum, and the good thing about this gym is we're open to the public. Anybody can come in, as long as they're sitting down. They can actually watch a sparring take place, which is a great thing.
And finally, John, have you ever had to close it because a pro's demanded it on his own and paid you the money accordingly? Has that happened?
We did it once, not demanding, but we did Kevin Mitchell when he fought John Murray. We closed the doors in the afternoon sessions because someone spoke out of school when the sparring was with Ricky Burns, and it was out of school. What goes on in the gym should stay in the gym, although what was said was wrong anyway. But someone seemed to open the doors and talk, and it caused problems, rightly so.
Was that disappointment for you?
Very disappointing, you know. We see loads of things go on in this gym.
It stays in the gym.
And it stays in the gym. That's the rules of boxing, and professionals should know that is the rules of boxing. Unfortunately, some people like to be the first to say it, and it all went pear-shaped.
So you closed it for Kevin.
Yeah. And It worked with the Murray fight, as you saw. He boxed fantastic with the Murray fight.
You've never had, like in the old days when Lennox used to swan into town. I know you weren't operating then, and he'd try and hire every gym.
I'd like to have had the opportunity to do that, and obviously we'd find a way to accommodate them. Obviously, no ways. I mean, you know, as like all gyms, we're struggling, and any extra income is great income. So, if someone wants to rent it out for a few hours a day, they're more than welcome to.
And you still don't get any filming or anything down here?
We have little bits of. We've actually got David A here tomorrow on a photo shoot from 1 till 5. So.
I'm still amazed you don't, because you've got no trains, just the aggravation in lots of gyms, and you know the reps charge a lot of money, and they give you a minute, and they're right on your case. The All Stars doesn't work, it's in the middle of nowhere. Dow Youth's too tiny, so the gyms where I've done filming over the last 15 years. This is the ideal place.
We do a lot of music videos. We've got a group that base themselves here. What are they called? Limitless and they're clueless as well. So.
That's their sister band.
And they're useless. No, they're not. They're pretty good.
John, as normal, son, it's always a pleasure sitting over here talking cobblers with you. I can't tell you enough. Rio and all the boys. Yeah, so still going on. I told you I'd get Mark Tibbs. He's finished now with his fight. He's got Billy Corcoran here. He's got Tom Bacon here. He's got little Billy Morgan here. Mark, normal day really. Just one of those days in between big fights.
Yeah, well, I've just got news today from Dean Powell and from Dean Powell, Frank Warren Promotions. Young Billy Morgan's got a job on on November the 1st, I believe, the Thursday. So him and Gary Corcoran are on, so I'm glad they was coming in anyway, and so I've started to whip them into shape. Got 4 weeks to whip them into shape now.
Have you basically got most of these fighters, including Buglioni, Frank Buglioni, obviously Billy Joe's different because he's a champion, have you basically got most of them on ready to go, near enough ready to go, 3 or 4 weeks notice, Mark?
No,
let them taper down?
Yeah, we've got to taper them down, you know, otherwise if they're always on the boil all the time, always ready, they're going to go stale.
Yeah.
So we peter them down, tick them over, even send them away for a couple of weeks. You know what I mean? Yeah, well, not send them away, but
like
don't want to see them. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, and build them. It's nice to build them so we know where we are with them. You know what I'm saying by that?
Yeah, and of course, and it's half of that problem the fact that they are so keen that if you didn't pull them back or tell them to go and have 10 days off, they just push for it.
Well, yeah, that's right. I mean, Gary Corcoran, for instance, up there. I mean, he's a fiery character, fiery personality, fiery mentality. And every time I'm doing a bit of pad work with him, I touch him here and eggs, he's slow at pulling away. He growls and snarls at me. But I don't want to take the growl and snarl away from him. Yeah. I don't want him to take it out on me. So you've got to find the line, you know what I mean? Find the line, but he's a good, I like that to see him, man. He's snarling. He's like Elvis Presley, but he's growling at me. It's funny, you know, but he's a good fighter. And
he is a good fighter.
You got to keep that, that's what he's a real fighter, man, and it's nice to keep that animal in him, but, you know, focus it and channel it.
It's been a really busy year, you know, since the whole Box Nation thing. You've had some nights you've done 4 fighters, I think. It's been some busy shows. Obviously, Kevin, we'll see what Kevin does after the Ricky thing. Yeah. Billy Joe just seems to, I mean, it's almost like you can let him go a little bit now because he's suddenly changed. 6 months he's changed.
Well, you know, I've seen him from when he turned pro, and you know, there was question marks in the beginning, but they weren't question marks. They was whether we could build him and take him out of certain habits.
Which he talks about.
Yeah, but you know, we planted little seeds in his nut where say that's not very good, Billy Joe. This is how it should be. Bang, and we'll see if he can deliver it. And he does, and he's delivered and delivered and delivered, and he's been let off the leash, and he's mentally become strong, he's mentally become mature, and you know, he's going from strength to strength now.
And the rest of them, you mentioned Corcoran, Billy Morgan, Frank Buglioni's coming in late, so they're all getting to that stage now where, you know, you can keep getting them wins, you can keep getting them, you know, wins comfortably. But they all look to me like they're getting ready. They want to go somewhere. Yeah, well, I think this is an hard stage.
Well, it is an hard stage. I mean, Frank Buglioni, for instance, we had a meeting with Frank Warren yesterday, and it was a very positive meeting. But he was raring to go. I want to fight for a title, and I'm thinking, Frank, listen, no, you need another 6 rounder. Trust me. You know, we know what we're doing. Frank Warren knows what he's doing. Dean Powell knows what he's doing. I like to think I know what I'm doing. I don't know everything, but you know, we're getting along there. But it's been a really good process, and I'm excited about what's coming in the future. Simon Valili, He's just signed
the
professional.
cruiserweight or whatever he's going to. What can he do weight-wise, Mark?
He's a cruiserweight.
That's what I thought.
He's a cruiserweight. He's a cruiserweight. He's a very good.
I like him.
Very good. I'm looking forward to getting excited to work with him. I'm hoping he'll be out in December, but he's just, he's going through the process of getting his licence with the British Boxing Board of Control now. But it all looks good.
And you got any others, without naming any others floating around that you've been looking at, or that have maybe talked to you?
Do you know what? At the moment, what I've got at the moment, I'm happy to work with that. There's only so much you can do, and we don't want to overpopulate ourselves with extra fighters. We want to work with the best and get the best out of them. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
So there is a ceiling, isn't there? What a partnership like you and your dad can do. Yes. There is a ceiling. You can't have 22 fighters, can you?
No, well you can, but you know what I mean. They're not going to be able to develop them properly. But for instance, there's always time for special talent. So
we ain't closing the door. Marky, thanks very much.
Thanks very much, Steve. All the best, mate. Good luck.
Johnny Eames and his people there, a slice of a unique East End version of the United Nations, all inside his Canning Town gym.